Wisdom Exchange TV, Ignite Excellence Foundation initiative in support of Africa Business Women Connected Summit taking place in Ethiopia in 2013. The Wisdom Exchange is a resource to help African women learn, lead, and succeed in life, business, and community. It is a forum where women of all disciplines will be inspired by the achievements of African women in politics, philanthropy, education, and business. These are the women that are the change agents of Africa, companies, communities, country, and continent. They will inspire us to be better than we were before with their strategies and tactics. And subscribe so you do not miss an episode. These are the women leaders of today for tomorrow. Hello, my name is Suzanne F Stevens. I'm the co-producer as well as the host of Wisdom Exchange TV, as well as the president and founder of the Ignite Excellence Foundation, which our mandate is leadership, advocacy, and education. And our mission is to inspire, invest, and develop women in emerging countries. If you'd like to donate to Ignite Excellence Foundation, you can do that at igniteexcellencefoundation.org. We're in Addis in Ethiopia, and we are with our very special guest, Hilina Belete. She's the Deputy General Manager of Operations for Hilina Enriched Foods processing. There's many things that will inspire you about this particular woman. Not only is she extremely well educated, not only is she leading an organization of 250 people, but in addition to that, she's only 24. So I think we'll learn a lot from a youth perspective how to lead an organization, some of the challenges that come up in doing that. So let's welcome Hilina. Finally, it feels like we've been talking about email for a little while. Now, you know, you have an education in public administration and development management from the Faculty of Business and Economics in Addis Ababa University, which is great to hear because often people go elsewhere to get educated. So it's nice to see that you've actually been educated in your backyard. But now you're just finishing up, from what I understand, your master's.
My master's.
Your master's business and leadership at the University of South Africa. Now, why did you take that course?
Because I want to continue in business. I want to be a leader in business, and I have a lot to contribute in leadership in Ethiopia.
So let's expand on that. What do you think you have to contribute to leadership, Ethiopia, and women, and young women at that?
Ethiopia needs a lot of new things. We have lots of basic necessities, basic needs that we haven't really done before. Mm-hmm. So we need change. In that perspective, I need to be educated in leadership.
Why agriculture?
Because 80% of the Ethiopian economy is based on agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
If we can transform that, if we can transform the way we do agriculture, we can transform the country, the economy of the country.
What percentage of that would be women and what percent men? Do you know?
Women are not really engaged in agriculture.
Okay.
It's the men, actually, in the tradition of Ethiopia, who are engaged in the agriculture because it's a traditional work, and we're used to men doing that, not women doing that. Women are normally doing the household cooking and managing the family.
You're 24, and if you don't mind me saying, you're an attractive woman, a smart woman, and you're managing how many men?
About 150.
Okay. So tell us about some of the challenges of managing men from your perspective.
Well, managing men, for me, it comes in two ways. I'm also young. They don't like, they're not used to actually young women leading men in Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. If say my dad, the managing director, orders something, it's easier for me. So, but now I have stopped that culture because now or later on they will have to get used to me leading them. So now I'm leading them, and I step by and forget my dad or any man intervening. So I do it myself.
Do they respect you? And I don't mean to be, but do they?
Well, they do. They do, because if I make an order, I'll not get back and say no, you can leave it, or I will not transfer the order to my dad or any other man. I'll just continue making my orders persist.
Is there any sort of techniques that you use, how you communicate those instructions so that they know you mean business and this is not negotiable
First thing is just to be confident in yourself. If you have confidence in yourself, you make them believe in you first of all. If you also persist in what you say, if you don't change your ideas, they believe in you later on.
So where did you get this confidence?
From family. I'm the eldest daughter in my family.
Okay.
I have one older brother. He's 1 year older than me, but I'm the eldest sister, so I am the one responsible in my family. My father, my mother, they give me, opportunity to say something. So if you're raised like that, I think you can build confidence. Be sure of what you say will not embarrass you. Mm-hmm. If you do that, if you read, you are sure of, if you're confident of what you do or what you say. Mm-hmm. These days, information is available. You can Google anything. Say, I'm not a nutritionist, but what I do is nutrition. Mm-hmm. So I really don't know nutrition unless I read. Mm-hmm. So to be able to speak to the nutritionists and be confident in myself, I read nutrition. I read whatever I get.
There's knowledge, but it's how you communicate that knowledge.
Yes.
Often, and how you carry yourself too, because, you may be brilliant, but if people don't see you as brilliant, if they don't see you as carrying that knowledge, they still can walk on you. I like what you said about being emphatic and you're not going to let up. It's like having a child. If you say no, okay, you can have the cookie.
Yes.
If you keep giving in,
then you let yourself go.
You let yourself go and you perpetuate it, the challenge. Now, I read somewhere that you feel the need to prove yourself in agriculture industry as a young woman. How do you go about proving yourself?
We do a lot of field research with the farmers. We do a lot of marketing and teaching them on how to store it properly, good practices on storage and harvesting, things like that. And I go with the expertise. Mm-hmm. So I tell them, I speak up. I take the opportunity to let myself show up there and let them know that we want them to do this. We can accept those products they produce.
Do you speak at conferences? Do you have team meetings? What other things do you do to kind of help people see that you're not your father who started the business, correct? But yet you still have a voice and you still should be listened to.
I attend a lot of conferences anywhere in the world, not only in Ethiopia, but also in Ethiopia, in the fields, in the regions. Whenever we have a market research, I go and speak up and let them know that we're here.
And how about with your team internally?
I do that by showing them every day. I bring new ideas. We discuss a lot. We have a lot of meetings with the employees themselves. I take ideas from them as well. Mm-hmm. Because it's not only you who know something better for the company. Mm-hmm. They also have ideas, so we have a lot of discussion. In those discussions, I come prepared.
And every culture is a little different where women have sort of evolved within that culture. What do you think is more difficult and why? Being a woman in your position or being young in your position?
For the urban society we are in now, for Addis Ababa, maybe being young is more difficult. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the field, being a woman itself is a very difficult thing to show them you can lead. To show them you can tell them what to do or advise them what to do in the rural areas. Being a woman itself is a challenge.
Could you tell us some of the challenges, like when you're actually dealing in the rural areas and you're dealing with the farmers themselves? What sort of reaction do you get and how do you deal with that?
Well, sometimes we travel with colleagues. Some of them are men, some of them are women. And mostly when I try to tell them something, they often refer to, okay, who's the manager? Him? Her? A man. So I tell, no, I'm going to be speaking up now. I'm the manager, so they're surprised. Especially if they come with their children, with their women children, with their girl children. The children are like, are you the one leading the company? Because they've never been given the opportunity. Mm-hmm. Or they were not really educated to do so. They cannot speak up.
How does that make you feel when a young girl says, you're the one leading the company?
Yeah, it's sad, but it's also letting her know that's possible.
See, yeah,
That's possible.
I could see that being pretty motivating.
Yes.
Now, when you started, did you know enough about what you were talking about to get the authority that you needed to be successful?
No. So what I did was I started from the very low jobs. I started with sorting the peanuts. Then I grew up and I took a lesson every week in every stage. So until I knew every process line. So after that, I knew every process, so I could say, no, this is how you do it. I've done that before.
Now, have you found, I mean, you're young, you're a woman, and now daddy owns the business. I mean, you've got a lot working against you.
Yeah.
So, whose decision was it that you go through all this steps?
It was my dad's actually. I had to know the process line anyway, and also challenge that perceiving of the people, of the employees. Daddy's girl, she's here because she's daddy's girl, she doesn't know anything. So I had to challenge that as well.
Right.
So to do that, I had to know the process line.
Let's go back a bit. When you were on the line working next to men and women, and they knew who you were, how are you able to get yourself working alongside them, not for them working for you?
It was a bit tricky because one, they knew I actually owned the place partly, and secondly, they were a bit nervous because if they make a mistake or if they say something, they're afraid because it's actually owned by us. More into the assistance because I had to learn. I took 3 months in learning the process.
Okay.
And then I went to France and saw the franchisers, how they do it, how they manage it there. Okay. And then I came back and did the operations.
So tell us now, in the position that you're in, how do you motivate your team?
My team, we have a very wide motivational factors in Hilina. We have free education. If they want to continue their education, we pay the bills, especially for the ones finishing a high school, because we employ from 10th grade. From 10th grade, they can come and do the labor work. They can sort the peanuts and everything. So if they want to continue their education, we pay for their school fees. We subsidize lunch and meals. We have also health insurance, and also we have a free plum peanut in case their children are malnourished, because this is a rural area as well. It's a suburbs of Addis. The place you came, it's a suburb place, and a lot of children are malnourished here in the suburbs as well, not only in the fields. So they need the products. Our products are for the treatment of malnutrition, so they help themselves as well.
Do you get people together on an ongoing basis? Where you have talks just to keep them motivated besides what they get? But part of what you get, draws you to the organization, and survival keeps you there, but to be motivated to do better, often it's more than just what they get. So is there any strategies that you employ in that regard?
We have yearly celebrations. In New Year, there's a celebration, big celebration. We have football team. We have running race every twice a year or something like that. So this kinds of employee bonding really keeps them together and also motivates them. We have poem awards. And
competitions?
Competitions.
Yeah, okay.
About the company, about what they do.
What are some of the biggest challenges you've had confronting being a young woman leading an organization?
Acceptance within the men themselves, and also the girls.
I was going to ask you about that.
Because they're used to being led by a man in Ethiopia. It's our tradition. It's not something different from Africa. So yes, acceptance was a big challenge. They will come used to you when they see you every day. As a young leader, experience. I did not have any experience. I just came from college, so I really had to read and learn and work with them, work with everybody to know what I do.
Where have you had more challenges in regards to leading women or men? Who's been more receptive to you?
I think men are more receptive, because women, they're not used to it. So I had to really prove it to them, tell them that it's okay, it's normal, that women can lead you.
There's got to be something else there why women aren't as receptive.
Mainly, I don't know, maybe it's because of our very strong culture and tradition. In Ethiopia, women are really kept at home doing the household work, and especially in the rural areas. This is almost like a rural area.
Yeah,
in
I
Ethiopia.
saw that one.
So, yes, I think that was a problem.
So what advice would you provide to women managing large teams in agriculture?
You have to go to the field and talk to the farmers. Really go down there and be easygoing and really help them achieve what you want them to achieve. Because if you're not there, if you're not going down there, and if you send expertise or anybody else, it might not be as the one you want. Plus, it might not motivate them as how you will motivate the farmers yourselves. So go down there, go to the field, talk to them. It really motivates them.
When you go to the farm, what do you wear?
Jeans, normal clothes, ordinary things. Jeans and tops with sneakers.
Okay, so you started working with
them.
Okay.
Yes.
What advice would you give to a young woman pursuing a managerial career?
Be ambitious. Be ambitious, first of all. Know what you want to lead, who you want to lead. So study for them. I mean, if I want to lead farmers, if I want to lead professionals, if I want to lead a group of women who in this culture, it should be the way I read, it should be for them. I mean, I should know their culture, I should know them, I should understand them.
Mm-hmm.
So when we want to pursue your career as a managing director or something like that, you should know who you want to lead.
When interviewing other women, I mentioned this to you earlier, in agribusiness, it seems the key to success is processing food.
And here in Hilina Foods, we only process peanuts.
Okay.
But we also process soybeans in other companies.
What kind of products do you make from the raw peanut? What kind of products and what kind of increase in margin is from the raw peanut to the process?
From raw peanuts, we have lots of products. Say we have snacks, peanuts with salt sprayed on, chili sprayed on, just for snacks like that. We also have peanut butter. We have this peanut paste for making the plum peanut, for the high-calorie nutritional food we make.
Right.
Treatment for severe acute malnutrition. It's a different product. We take a very large amount of peanuts from the farmers. We process it here, we sort it, we roast it, we dehull it, we grade it. So it's a big process, and we add value to it.
Just taking the peanut, doing nothing to it, to adding the salt, the growth in margin of what you can sell that at.
40 to 50% more.
Okay. So
More
how?
the price.
Okay, so definitely worth. It costs more, of course, because there's a whole plant out here.
Yes. Well, with the peanut butter also, yes, we can make up to 40 to 50%.
Again, okay.
Yes.
How about for the nutrition?
The nutrition product, we have a lot of ingredients to be added.
Yeah.
So all the ingredients are very expensive. So we make up to 15% more margin.
Okay.
But we know there's a lot of spin-off effect and benefits to the society by doing that product. It's a product that institutions buy, such as UNICEF and MSF, and give it to the malnourished children, their caretakers or something. But we know there's a lot of spin-off effect. The farmers are benefiting, the transporters are benefiting, the employees are benefiting, and later the children with malnutrition are benefiting. They survive, you bring them back to life. So there's a lot of spin-off effect benefiting from your product by processing that product.
How does that make you feel?
Very nice. I love the job I'm in, because it has a lot of socially beneficial impacts.
So it's beyond a job.
It's beyond a job.
Yeah, wonderful. What's been the most significant impact you feel you've made in your career so far?
It's a collaboration of lots of efforts, not only mine, everybody's here in Hilina Foods, but the social impact of this company is way too beyond that, beyond my job or everybody's job. We save people, we save lives of children, we save lives of HIV patients. I mean, at least they survive a little more. We have a lot of employees. a lot of farmers are hoping that we exist and really continue working because they have a lot of market and we buy with a markup price a bit higher than the market price.
Why do you do that?
To motivate them, to motivate them and make them sure that there's a market for them so that they keep producing.
You were to attribute your success to one thing. What would that one thing be?
Yes, I think I'm daring. I take opportunities.
To date, what is the most rewarding aspect of your career?
Our social impact.
Yeah. The most challenging aspect of your career?
I'm young. I'm young and I'm a girl.
Now, what is the most significant decision you've made in your career?
Joining this company before joining some other small organization.
Okay. Now
I could have built my experience and be more confident and come here, but I just took the job. It was very daring and difficult, challenging.
Now, that's a really good point, though. Do you think if you were to advise somebody else that is their family started a business, would you advise them to go somewhere else first, then come here, or do you think you made the right decision?
I think I made the right decision, but I also we made the right decision because I learned step by step. I didn't just come and took the operations job. I had to learn from the very low jobs.
Would you recommend that strategy, or would you say, stay there a little longer?
For Ethiopia, I guess you should do it quickly. 3 months should be enough because if you stay longer, you build, you make buddies, you make friends, and later on it will be a challenge for you to lead them.
Okay. Which is an excellent point. This is why I'm asking the question, because learn it, but get through it. So then you can see they see you as an authority rather than a friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, has there ever been an initiative that you've done at your organization that just hasn't worked? Something that you implemented that did not work, and if you could tell us about it and how you dealt with that and what you learned from that.
Within the 3 years, there's no initiative that I've tried and failed actually. I consult a lot before I make an initiative. I have some initiatives that I do myself, but I consult a lot because I know I'm young. I admit that.
But you still bring up a good point because you know you're young and you don't know everything.
Yes.
We never know everything.
Yeah, we don't.
Even when we're older, but we don't ask as much when we're older. What sort of gifts do you think you have in your personality that has made you successful to this point and will continue to make you successful moving forward?
Again, I'm very daring. I try things. Even if I know I might fail, I still try things. I like taking initiatives. I like taking opportunities.
This is a bit what you were talking about earlier, just before we started the interview, about the edginess segment. Is that taking a role with a lot of responsibility and coupling that with your master's degree at the same time. How are you managing to do both of those at the same time?
Well, it's very difficult. For example, now I'm about to take my final exams, and we have a lot of work to do because it's a crisis time. We have a big crisis in the Horn of Africa, so we have a lot of things to do. But it's still my finalizing time. I'm doing my paperwork and everything, so it's very difficult for me. But I still manage. I delegate a lot during those times. I give it to other people whom I believe in.
So, can you describe to us a situation where you felt uncomfortable and how you dealt with that particular situation?
Yes, at this time there was this employee who used to go straight to the managing director. Actually, he's my dad, because she was a bit scared to come to me, or she was not confident that I could make the decision, or she thought I did not know what I was doing. So she was going straight to him. So he was telling her to come back to me. So you need help in these areas. At these times you need help from other colleagues of yours. If they're men, if they're older than you, they should really tell them to come back to you. Otherwise, you on your own, you cannot prove yourself in these times.
Because I train influential communications, one of the things often when organizations are negotiating, and if they're negotiating with one person and they feel, they can't help me, then they go above them.
Yes.
And if they go above them and if that boss gives a better deal,
yes, then you're done.
Then you're done. Then you're compromising the person's ability to negotiate and have authority.
They call me and ask me to give them a product or something, and I tell them, no, we cannot give you now because we don't have it.
Yeah.
They directly call him. They hang up the phone and I directly call him. Sometimes he's next to me and I know they're calling him, and they tell them, no, she's right. She doesn't have the product now.
Right.
You know, sometimes he has to bring you back to them.
And it's just a good point that where they are not being empowered by their boss, they need to confront them too and say, like, let's say your dad wasn't doing that. You know, you'd have to confront him and say, we're compromising our position here. I'm never going to have authority unless you allow me to have authority. And then I would say to your dad, do you want to be working here forever? Because if you don't, then you've got to relinquish some of that authority. And this is really also important in mentorship. You know, is if you really want to mentor, you've got to allow people to make decisions, even if they're not the right decisions.
Yes.
What does success mean to you?
Achieving my goal, achieving the goal that I've started for. If I set a goal and I want to go there, and if I don't go there, if something happens and if I fail and if I stop, then I'm not successful.
Now, how would you define leadership?
Well, that's a big question. Leadership, being able to manage and lead people in a way they are comfortable with you, they are confident in you, they accept what you tell them to do, or they believe in you. If they believe in you, they'll definitely be led by you. So leadership is motivating people, managing people, and making them go your way by also believing in your cause. If they don't believe in your cause, you're not leading them. You're just telling them what to do.
So as a leader, what do you find are the three most powerful pieces of advice you can give to someone trying to lead either a team, a project, an organization, or initiative?
Well, communicate your goal to the team you're dealing with. Let them know, let everybody know what your goal is, and let them define it themselves the way you do it. And if you are all in the same page, I think it's easy for you also to lead them. Believe in them also. Empower them so they can make decisions the way you want them to. Not everything can be done by you. It has to be done by everybody. Everybody has to make their own decisions at every step they go through.
Again, you bring up an interesting point, because communicating to somebody on the farm may not be the same message that you communicate to one of your managers.
No.
They have different motivators, don't they?
Yes.
And so understanding what motivates them and communicating that message in a way that will motivate them, but to your point, they're going to make their own decision. So you've got to make sure that message is communicated. Not easy to do necessarily.
No.
You
You have to communicate with the way they would understand you.
That's right.
If you have to communicate with them through simple things for the farmers, say, if you have to communicate with them with seeds, if you can give them examples with the things they know, it's easier for them to understand you. With the professionals, you can deal with them in any way, a professional way, the way you're used to. So you have to know who you're communicating with.
So what's next for you, besides graduating with your master's?
I will take some nutrition courses, because I still need to be confident on what I'm talking about. Because I talk with a lot of nutritionists, food science people, so I want to know what I'm talking about. So I'll take so many nutrition courses that I know for. Because if you don't know what you talk about, people will definitely dismiss you.
Given the chance in your really long life, what would love to do that you haven't done yet? And this could be anything.
I don't know. Maybe children is something I will go on next step. It will be a challenge for me because it's a lot of work at home. It will be a lot of because I know my mom. I've seen my mom. I've seen a lot of women doing it. But I think that challenge will not go away. I should do it.
Let's say you had a 10-year-old daughter today.
Okay.
And sort of what kind of words of advice would you give to her?
I want her to be confident. I want to empower her whenever I can. Speak up. Be a leader in your school at least. Because it will give her the opportunity to speak up, to face an audience, to understand people. I want her to see the countryside, so she will understand the way how people live there too. She will understand the way people live. There are so many types of living status. I want her to know that.
What do you wish someone told you when you were 10?
I wish I had seen this kind of atmosphere as well. I wish I had been to the countryside. So I had that picture all the way. I should have that picture at least. They've been telling me, but I haven't seen it really.
What words of wisdom would you like to impart to African women?
Don't be afraid to try, even though you might fail. Even though you might fail, you should try. Unless you try, you'll never know where your goal can take you. So sitting and doing nothing will not take you anywhere.
We're traveling through Africa interviewing women just like this, women who are real trailblazers. Now this is the youngest woman we've actually interviewed, and we felt it was really important to appreciate that age is not an obstacle. Age is an opportunity. So those are perhaps my words of wisdom today, is age is not an obstacle, but it is an opportunity. And know that you don't know everything at a certain age, but having the confidence to pursue it regardless is wonderful that you're able to do that. Also, if you work for an organization that would like to sponsor Africa Businesswomen Connected Summit, there's a lot of information on Wisdom Exchange TV. If you go under About on the site, it says ABW Connected. There's a lot of information there on what that objective is, and it is bringing top women leaders all over Africa together. And if that's your target market, you want to sponsor this event. It's a first-time event bringing people all over the world to Ethiopia in 2013. Also, if you'd like to advertise on this site, please again go to About and Wisdom Exchange TV, and we'd love to have you advertise and support this initiative as we travel through Africa. Thank you for joining us.